All right. Hey, everyone. Hope you guys are all having a lovely day out there today. Bitcoin decided to take a little bit more of a dip, as you guys know from yesterday. We did hit that secondary support level, and as of right now, Bitcoin is trying to hold on. So we have some optimism kind of sprouting, I would say. We really don't have much more than that to be happy about. But from here on out, I can give you guys some trading advice and things like that. As I told you guys this morning, I did a little bit of a day trade. I'll talk to you guys about how that worked out, and it did work out well for me. But how I might want to play the next few days here, especially as Bitcoin has a large opportunity now to actually start to go a little bit more sideways here off the support, then eventually break out and start heading back up towards around like $90,000. Again, it's not the craziest move you're going to see in the world. It might get up to like maybe 91, 92, but that level of resistance is going to be there for a minute here, so that's going to be the big goal, okay? So, happy to see all of you guys here. Let me give Loki a little bit of a treat because I didn't have one yesterday. There you go. Yeah. Yep. And then he'll run away. He acts like they're the biggest treats, but I have these Simply Nourished soft chews. They don't sponsor the channel, but they're peanut butter recipe. Made of real peanut butter. I wonder how much is real, but yeah. So that's kind of the gist here for today. Hey, Tony, happy to see you, my man, and happy to see you, Ample Links Mobile. All right, let me go over here very fast. Let's just kind of break down the news of the day and the technicals of the day because they just were not that great, guys. Not that great, right? Now, as far as yesterday, there really isn't much of an update, though. What we really have is still the change of character on the weekly is still bullish. Everything else on the weekly charts is bearish. Everything on the daily charts is bearish. And everything on the 4-hour chart is bearish except for the stochastic RSI. Excuse me, the stochastic, excuse me. And that's like our only sliver of hope here. Oh, it's just not, doesn't look good, right? This does not look good, same as yesterday. And you saw what happened yesterday. We continue to move lower and lower and lower. Now, backing over here to the weekly chart, we put up this line yesterday and everybody was like, what does this line mean? Where is that? Like, why is it here? There's no reason for this line to be here. And that's because if you guys go over to the daily chart, you guys will see the consolidation that we were talking about going down to the bottom of the wick right here, all the way up to the body of the candles right here. And this is going to be our order block if Bitcoin did start to break down below that 20-week moving average here, right? So in the short term, what I told you guys I did this morning when I put up my video around 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, something like that, is I told you guys I was just going to do a small day trade here and try to make some money off of it. And basically it revolved around Bitcoin getting back over here and then me just selling it when it came back over here and keeping 10% of the trade alive. And then if it decides to go higher, I'll make some more money off of it. If it hits my stop loss, which is basically the entry price for me, then of course I will just take that little bit of a loss here and then be happy with the gains I've gotten. So no matter what, this trade, I've made some money off of it. But as you guys can see, it happened pretty darn fast. But what I want to let you guys see here is the 1-hour chart. Let's get there. If you guys are looking for a buying opportunity here, that's not dollar cost averaging, but that's more built into the realm of day trading, swing trading, scalping, and things like that, with leverage. Really, you're going to have to let this sit for a little bit of time and then try to have that larger breakout. Right now, the breakout might happen sometime in the middle of the night, to be honest, so it's not really giving us the best time here, but it could very well happen sometime tomorrow morning when the market opens back up. The market overall, and this includes the stock market, everything like that, it just really hasn't been doing so hot. And so as I'm kind of waiting for Bitcoin to make a larger move, I'm going to keep that 10% in here for now. And then I think in the morning, if we're consolidated enough, I think what I'm going to be looking for here, especially on the hour chart or the half an hour chart, what I'm going to be looking for is, you can see how there's like these little types of breakouts and stuff like that. It's almost more of something like that, or in my opinion, something more like just this level of resistance right here around $90,000. If I see us getting close to that, and on top of this, we have the 4-hour charts finally showing some bullishness, which again may happen sometime later on tonight. I think there's an opportunity for Bitcoin to consolidate a little bit more and maybe have a wick back up here to around 90,000, 91,000. Above that, I don't know. I'll have to wait and see. the fact that I'm even like giving you guys trades here like this morning and stuff like that, it's just it's a rough game right now. It's a really rough game. Typically, you want to be going after these break of structures and change of characters and things like this, but in reality, you want to be careful that you don't follow all of these change of characters because this was at a big level of support. This is why we talked about you guys have to wait for that breakdown to occur, then we have to wait for the close to occur, and once the close occurs, then you can do some trading, but even then, it's just a little bit more difficult, right? So in those situations, you're probably scalping more than anything. Let me pull this back up here. So as I've kind of listened to other YouTubers and kind of saw what people were talking about today, the mood definitely is the bull market is over. That's kind of people are saying, or they're saying that in terms of like, oh my God, is the bull market over? Right? And I think that's a fine way to approach it at this point. Just because everybody's nervous and everybody's freaking out. Is Bitcoin really going to hit $150,000 or $200,000, or are we going back down to 70,000, then 50,000, then 30,000, and then sitting for a while until this inflation thing kind of fixes itself up? I don't think we're going all the way down $30,000, but you get what I'm saying there. Because right now, if we take away this level of support for Bitcoin and we start to break down below it, sure, we have a 200 daily moving average here, but afterwards it really comes down here between 77,000 and around 72,000. That's the next kind of range we're looking at here if Bitcoin decides to take a little bit of a move down. That's our next support level. There's nothing really here to be like, wow, this is amazing. Bitcoin's going to really stop, and then we have a reversal. In between this and this, there's just nothing there. I was thinking about maybe if we go back in time a little bit more, but again, all-time highs makes that just a little bit different. But as far as like ultimate strong support, you really are going to find that in the mid 70s, I would say. Now, let me back up here a little bit, and let me just go back over to the 15-minute chart. So far, still consolidating. So far, we are getting a little bit better here. We're not out of the woods yet, but at least for the next few hours, it seems like Bitcoin wants to calm down just a little bit more. And by calm down, I mean go sideways. We may have an attack by a bull or a bear or something like that, but that's usually more of a targeted thing and not something you can really forecast realistically, if you ask me. All right. So let me just go over some of the stuff that happened today, because although Bitcoin went down, you guys might have saw that altcoins actually had a decent day today, which was kind of interesting. So let me go over here. Bitcoin, of course, down 4% today, $88,000. Maker up 15, IP up 14, Quant up 13, TIA up 10, Immutable X up 10, 8, Etna down up 8. All right. So there was some gain today despite Bitcoin coming down. And if you look at the last week, there are still a few tokens that are still positive for the week. Now, it's not a lot of them, I grant you. It's not a lot. But you got, KuCoin, Mantra, Pyth, Kai, Quant, Barachain, Dex, Virtual Protocol, Celestia, and SEI, and a few others, right? A few other ones. Overall, still doing okay, I would say. Now, the flip side of that, you go to what happened here this week. You got things like Radium down 40% in the last week, also down about, 16% in the last 24 hours. Mantle is down 23% in the last week, and today it's down about 3%. Official Trump is down about 20% this week. So there's a huge range of what's happening here. So if you guys do find the coins that are kind of making some moves, you guys might want to be day trading those over Bitcoin if you guys understand your basic technical analysis, right? So right now Bitcoin's bearish, you understand that, but right now at least Bitcoin's cooling off a little bit, and maybe that gives you some room to hop in here to Maker or IP or Quant or Immutable X. Now, I don't know much about IP, to be honest. I just don't know if it's been listed everywhere just yet. I'm going to check it out for you guys very fast. Yeah. Buyback Coinbase. Yeah, so it is on exchanges here. Not as many, but it's not enough. Futures? Yeah, futures even more. So you can go to some of those exchanges and try to trade some of those more volatile tokens. Again, you don't have to use a 50x leverage or 20x leverage. You'll be fine with 3x leverage or 5x leverage, because again, within a day, some of these tokens are moving up 10-15%, and if you just catch a 5% swing off of a 3x leverage, you're going to be happy with the results if you're not greedy. If you're greedy, it just may not it may not end well, right? Let me go back over here very fast. As far as news was concerned, I was looking for some stuff to talk to you guys about as far as crypto, but it's all like EVs and tech stuff today. So Tesla's market cap sinks below 1 trillion as stock slumps more than 8%. That is a big drop for Tesla. I am a holder for Tesla. I usually buy these larger drops, but my God, this thing is like down like 20% over the last like few weeks. It's come down a lot here. On the other side of things, Lucid CEO steps down. We haven't talked about Lucid much in the past. I'm holding a bag on this one, I think, right now. Let's go to the weekly chart. Yeah. You think some of these altcoins are bad? Lucid. However, I have dollar cost average a little bit into it, but I'm just not doing any more. I think I'm down like $1,000 on this one though, so it's a little bit heavier than my average little bag, if you will. But I'm watching it closely. Normally, you guys know I like to go into like tried and true companies, blue chips and stuff. But when I do get risky, I do try to go out there and find something that I like. And this thing has not really performed well, but it's just something to keep track of, because maybe they will start to hit some of their strides here pretty soon. Let me go back over here. Trump floats 5 million gold card as a route to U.S. citizenship. I think this is actually going to be interesting. I see a lot of other countries do the same thing here. But $5 million, it's going to be an expensive venture to become an American. And I guess it should be to some respects, right? Now, nothing else really going on here. The market futures are up just a tad, but again, nothing really crazy going on. Everything is just calming down after we've seen Bitcoin have this nasty move. Everything is really just calming down. And I think that's the right way to see it. Like, we're just taking a breath right now. We're just taking a breath. And sometimes a breath is definitely going to be okay. We have seen that crypto sentiment has sunk to an extreme fear as Trump says tariffs are still on. Hold on a second here, guys. Got a scratchy throat, so I took a Ricola. But I can't talk and hit this lodging at the same time. There we go. All right. So a couple things here. I mean, actually, you can see how some tokens have actually been doing okay, and some have actually been doing really rough. So we still got some hope here. But crypto sentiment sinks to extreme fear as Trump says tariffs are still on. These tariffs are guiding the market in the short term, and it seems like if they really go through, this is the type of thing that will get Bitcoin pushed back down below the current levels around 87,000 and push Bitcoin back down towards $80,000. If these tariffs not come through and they're postponed again, there's a good chance Bitcoin can pop back above like 98, 99, maybe even $100,000. But we're going to need to see a little bit more good news there. I think what's getting me a little bit more optimistic about Bitcoin right now, and it's only a small thing besides just the technicals that we're bouncing off right now, I would say the good piece of news that I heard today that I actually don't have up is Ukraine deal. There was some news a few hours ago. There we go. Maybe CNN might be a good place to go just because I don't want to see an ad. So, U.S. and Ukraine agreed to terms on natural resources and reconstruction deal, Ukraine says from a Ukrainian official. So this basically means that we got a little bit closer to get peace, because this means that we're going to get a lot of money from Ukraine, a lot of resources from Ukraine, right? And mostly it's the resources that will make us the money, if that makes sense. And then from there, right, we can imagine now Trump can say, now we got Ukraine squared away. Now let's go over to Putin and let's start figuring out how we can make peace. Now that we know that if there is peace, America will be there to help protect everything, because we're going to be protecting our interests. You know, there's a scene in Succession, I think it's the end of the third season, where all the three kids go up to Logan and they're going after him, and he just like swats them all like flies. And one of the youngest one, I think, or maybe the medium kid, I'm not entirely sure. He goes up to the lawyer woman, and she basically says, he's like, hey, help us, help us, help us. And she's like, I have to serve the company's interest. How is this in my interest? And right now, as far as I think that America being able to profit off of all those mineral rights, which there are a lot in Ukraine, that makes Ukraine worth our interest. That way we have to protect our interest. And again, that just means that if we're there, there's less of a chance that Russia's going to go try to bombard into Ukraine again and take more territory, because if they try to go into a war with us, we just have unlimited amounts of ammo. We have a lot of stuff that they just don't have, and it would probably end in nukes, but if it didn't end in nukes, we would easily destroy them, because you can see how badly their military has performed in Ukraine. It's just been freaking abysmal. They really need to modernize. I'm kind of surprised they really haven't modernized, to be honest. But yeah, and so that's causing, me to have a little bit more optimism than the extreme fear that we're seeing right now across the market. I understand why there's fear. You've seen Bitcoin plummet over the last few weeks. And again, we did talk about Bitcoin being bearish short term, and that was really just because the MACD switched over. If you guys, don't recall, way back over there. That being said, and over here, again, we also saw it go down, whoosh, as well, with the MACD turned over. A little bit of history there. But I would say that's my good news scenario there, because everything else seems to just be bad news and nothing looks really good, right? But yeah, Russia's going to be a huge part of this. Same with the United States, same with Ukraine. If we all can all get together and sing Kumbaya, Bitcoin will be a lot higher by the end of the quarter. Will it actually happen, And again, what will happen when it comes to the tariffs and stuff like that? I just wish those tariffs weren't going to come to pass. There's a strategy there, I know, but my focus is usually on cryptocurrency. I make enough money where I don't care about the United States as much, if that makes sense. Like, I care, but I don't want my bottom line to be hindered all too much, and that's probably a horrible thing to say, but I'll wait and see if these tariffs actually do help out people, if they do lead to something positive happening. And I think there are little bits of things that happening here that are positive, but is it going to be worth the damage that's done at the same time? Because these tariffs, it's a back and forth game, and Canada and Mexico, they target very conservative districts in the country, like the ones that would vote for Trump, to make sure his voters feel the most pain. Now, am I in a Trump district? No, I'm in a very liberal area. I live in Washington State, like a little bit outside Seattle. Not really much going on here, but it's still going to have effects on the economy, and it may cause our economy to dip into a recession, which could easily kill this bull market as well. Now, as far as the rest of the news here today, the majority of it's just kind of some interesting news that I found out today. MicroStrategy stock is down 16% year to date amid a Bitcoin rout. I'm surprised it's not down more. This thing has been getting hit, and oddly enough, this thing really got targeted at the top when Bitcoin was back at around 105, I think $106,000 before it kind of did that little peak up to 108. We saw a lot of short sellers come in here and start talking about, we think this is where we want to short MicroStrategy. And ever since then, we have seen MicroStrategy go down and Bitcoin go down. So I'm not entirely sure if they if they just timed it perfectly, or if they timed it in a way where they can manipulate the market to come back down. I am curious about that. Long story short, on the Bitcoin price entering thing here, Bitcoin price enters generational buying territory. Should traders expect more downside? I would say overall, yes, unless we have some good news, you should expect more downside. And this thing goes over, it's like, oh my God, there's such a big buying opportunity. Yeah, if you guys want a dollar cost average, that's what I would still be recommending here. But you guys don't have to dollar cost average your whole life savings into this. You guys only have to put a little bit of money, because again, Bitcoin's so volatile that by the time it slows down and you guys kind of see that original pop happening again, you guys will still have time to climb in there, and you guys will already have positions that you guys have already had for the last few months just cooking in there, waiting to make you guys some good money. But if you guys try to hop in all at once right now and Bitcoin drops another 5, 10, 15%, of course it's not going to end the way you want to, because if you might sell on that next dip and you're like, oh shit, then Bitcoin of course takes off right after you sell. Happens more than you think. Happens way more than you think out there. I guess we already kind of talked about this. I don't think I really need to reiterate this, but just get ready for it. Let me see actually here. Let's see. Yeah, his intended tariffs were scheduled to begin as soon as April. So April's coming up pretty soon, guys. So again, I'm gonna keep watching this. There's gonna be some tariffs apparently happening this month or some next month, and then April is gonna be more tariffs coming out of, like, if the EU tariffs our cars from going over there, we're gonna tariff their cars from coming over here. I don't see why we can't have American cars in Europe. You know what I mean? And we let their cars over here. That's a little bit kind of wonky here. So he's gonna have the right to do all that type of stuff. But it's gonna lead again to them attacking us back and forth, while we all try to sing kumbaya to get to be like anti-Russia, anti-Putin. And I want to remind you, when we're talking about all this news, it always just comes back down to this this inflation rate. We were at crazy high inflations back in 2022. Biden had some bad luck. He wasn't really able to kind of fix this in a timely fashion. And then on top of that, Jerome Powell really just didn't believe that inflation was bad for a while. So by the time it was taking off, he was just playing catch up. And that caused a huge, nasty move for the economy. And we all lived through it, right? That being said, we've been coming down slowly until we bottomed out in September of last year. And ever since then, we've been going higher and higher and higher and higher. And now there's a fear that inflation may get out of control again. And this is why so many people are like, oh man, are we going to really have a rate cut in 2025? Or are we going to have zero rate cuts and see the market kind of go stagnant and these huge waves as nobody knows really what to do, and we're just kind of in this weird holding pattern? As of now, if we go through the tariff battle and some other battles going on in the world, I would say that we are probably looking at one rate cut, maybe two if we're lucky. I would say one, but my heart would say two, because you never know what's going to happen in the next month, 2 months, 3 months as the economy continues to slow down. We had really bad consumer sentiment today. I mean, like really bad consumer sentiment. So people really do feel that things are getting worse. And if that sentiment kind of leaks over to what Jerome Powell is saying, I would say there's a better chance of him saying, okay, we need to start cutting again, or we need to start saying, hey, we realize the economy's slowing. We may be open to cutting in the future. That he has to make it more of a dovish Fed talk, if you will. And if he doesn't, things are going to get kind of rough really, really fast. All right. So let me go back over here to Bitcoin, go over to the 15-minute chart. Let's get out of that. Make sure I see you guys' posts and whatnot, because all we're looking for right now is to see if Bitcoin can actually have that nice reversal. And if it can, we're in the money here for making some good profit. That's why we are fighting materials. What do you call it? Honestly, again, I think I just have a really maybe immature view on this type of stuff, because I play a lot of geopolitical video games. And I'm a pretty transactional guy, and they say President Trump is very transactional as well. I, as an American, as a voter, citizen, whatever you want to call it, I don't like sending unlimited amounts of money to another country unless I get something out of it. Now, I will help you, but you literally have to help me out in some way, right? Because the money I'm sending over to you is money that I could have used to help this homeless guy over here in my own country. It's money I could have used to upgrade the government to be more efficient, right? Remember that mountain story, right? So, I know it's a good thing to help out a country in need, but there's a reason why a lot of other countries aren't helping Ukraine, because they got their own shit to deal with. And I would say America has a lot of shit on its door, on its inside its house, that we need to clean up in the short term here. You're in Oregon too? Yeah, you don't have to worry about the tariffs. And hey, Crypto, happy to see my man. Crude oil dropped to 68.92 a barrel. I bought it. Oh, interesting. So again, this is Trump's trump card when it comes to inflation. Can he get oil to go down more and more and more? And again, as you know, Larry, I've been selling out of my oil stocks for about a year now, maybe 2 years at this point. No, 2 years now. Wow, yeah, geez, it's been a minute. And there you go. It's fallen off a cliff right now. Got rejected off that trend line, and it's coming down back to support levels. If we can get oil back down below like 65 a barrel, we're going to force OPEC to cut production, and it's going to be kind of interesting to see how they react to this. But as of now, we're doing a good job of getting oil prices back down below. The economy is still slowing down, but this is what Trump wanted to do. He wanted to remove regulatory burden to make sure that they can pump more oil, refine more oil, which I think is a very important part that people don't really seem to understand. Refine more oil and make sure that gas is cheaper. Now, is this actually ending in gas being cheaper? That's something that I just don't know yet. I was just in Texas, and Texas gas prices were freaking insane, nice and cheap. There we go. So yeah, you can see over here where I live, 415, 376 in Oregon. California's 483. Holy shit. And New York's 317. Yeah, so West Coast is just kind of fucked over here. We also do have a 50-cent gas tax over here, so that's something. So, okay. Average is 314. A week ago it was 316. A month ago it was 312. And a year ago, 326. So over the last year, it's gotten cheaper. But from the last month, it's actually gone up a little bit. And that's despite oil prices going down. So again, not everything is easy peasy. We really need to get that that refining capacity up. That means we're turning oil into gasoline. We can get all the oil we want to, but if it's not able to be pumped into our cars and stuff to make that market have a higher supply to reduce the price, right? It's going to be a little bit more troublesome for us. But the fact that oil is coming down is a really good move, I think, for the overall inflation battle, because once this thing really starts to roll over, we're going to be good here. I know it's Crypto Man. We're all busy here these days. I mean, I was just in Texas for a week. What can I say? So Russia can't get the cars? Man, give Russia our cars. I honestly don't care at this point. I mean, we need to start exporting stuff. That's what America needs to do. We need to export. And if we export, all of the extra money that's coming in, the profit that's coming in from Russia or Europe or wherever the money's coming in from, of course, well, we're hoping, right? I'm always skeptical. But you would assume that the company would be able to give more money to the unions and to the employees that work at these factories and manufacturing plants. That's what you would be hoping for. What's right here? I thought I saw some question. I just didn't see it. Hey, Jonathan. Mike, do you know why Robinhood doesn't have PXD stock anymore? Let me make sure I know which one you're talking about. Pioneer Natural Resources? Yeah, so this is no longer actually active. I owned a shit ton of this, and I mean I owned a shit, like tens of thousands of dollars worth of the stock. But it was bought out by ExxonMobil. So yeah. Let's see. Yeah, back in 20, this has been a while ago. Yeah, so it got bought out. I mean, it went sky high. It was absolutely fantastic. You guys know this is one of my favorite oil plays back in the day, primarily because it was doing great and it had like a 9% dividend. Oh my god, it was great for energy. Like just great. But yeah, I got bought out by PXD Exxon. Right, ExxonMobil announces merger with Pioneer Natural Resources. Right. So yeah, completes. ExxonMobil completes acquisition of Pioneer Natural Resources right here. So, it was good. It's just no longer available right now. I guess I was forced to sell. I didn't want to have to wait for the give my money back and stuff. But yeah, it was definitely interesting. And hey, Villa, happy to see my man. What exchanges can I leverage trade in the United States? I have a link for a couple of them down below. If you look down below, there's Weeks, there's BYDFi. If you want something else, there's what are the other ones I'd probably recommend? It's hard to say because so many are not here anymore that I used to use. Maybe ZoomX is still here. I'm drawing a blank, and I really shouldn't be drawing a blank on this. I didn't get much sleep last night. Um, those are good enough. If you want leverage, Weeks is going to be very good. If you want to trade the low market cap tokens that are high risk, if you want to trade your Bitcoins and stuff and do it in a real safe environment where you're not like seeing crazy volatility all over the place, but I guess you still have access to it if you want to, then BYD-Fi would be your next big bet. But I have links to them down below. Looks like Tesla tapped the 8886 on the daily chart. I mean, Tesla's been a dumpster fire, guys. I mean, it's been a dumpster fire. There's nothing I can say to like make you not believe that at this point, right? I look at the weekly chart. Woo! Right? And then look at this very fast. We're there. I mean, we're there. Let's see what happens with Tesla here, but it's just not looking that that good. And again, this gave you the bearish chart a few weeks ago. Again, I swear if you guys use my change of character stuff and you guys just look at the MACD, stochastic, and RSI, when all of those things are flowing, it's a really good indicator of what's happening here with the market. I mean, it's a really good one. Now, that being said, look at the daily chart. No. It's been kind of rough, right? And so when you see everything kind of bearish here, then you see the change of character, you short that sucker down, right? You short it and you make your money and you run. You just have to find out where that next level of support was. And in this circumstance, looks like the next level of support was right here. See the bounce, right? So yeah, don't knock my trading strategies. I know the Bitcoin's kind of going sideways and all over the place, but if you get all of the daily charts looking bearish and like half of the weekly charts looking bearish, you can usually kind of follow through on these things, which is usually pretty nice. But for Tesla, I ain't touching this stuff until we have a breakout. And who knows when we're going to break out here. It's going to take a minute. It's really going to take a minute. But yeah, Tesla, ooh, just not hitting that sweet spot right now. At least for now, Bitcoin seems like it wants to go higher here, so I'm watching, what's the word they used during the election? Nauseously optimistic. I'm nauseously optimistic. What's my opinion on Pi Network? I stopped caring about Pi, I think a couple years ago, to be honest. I think I still have some. Somebody's been harassing me about Pi Network or something like that, actually. But I guess when you harass me, I'm typically not gonna answer, right? But I just don't care about Pi Network anymore. If you guys manage to make some money off it, congratulations, you guys are doing awesome. If you guys can't, you know, there's nothing wrong with just holding on to it, I would say at this point. But some of you guys have been like giving me news about it over time, but at this point, I just don't think there's anything that I really care about when it comes to Pi Coin. I'm hopeful that they can get something done, but I think I deleted my Pi app like a year ago. So, I know there's lots of influencers out there that have Pi. Maybe they're talking about it. It was a thing to talk about back in the day. I mean, I didn't even know about Pi until you guys told me to make an account. And I made one and I shared my code with you guys, but I didn't really see much value besides the point that you guys just wanted to keep track of all the Pi together and stuff. And it's just not something that I think is like great. Maybe it turns into something great, but as of now, I just kind of see it as like that piling steam of shit from that movie Jurassic Park. You know, I see the phone dialing, the phone ringing in it right now. Oh, Bitfinex is another one right there. Yeah, Bitfinex is right there. I'm glad I convinced all my friends to sell Tesla, even get some helpers on board to sell, and they're fanatics. I mean, Tesla is great if you want to hold for the long term, but when it does have those crazy spikes like we saw just a few weeks ago, or a few months ago, from the Trump bump, I don't really feel like there's a need to hold after that, because usually it's going to be very hard for something like a Tesla to go parabolic for long periods of time because the market cap is so large at this point, and really it's the institutions pumping money into it, not retail like it used to be. Retail has sold out or is basically holding for a very, very long time. As somebody who's retail and who did a lot of trading with Tesla, I don't particularly like to day trade Tesla. I like to hold Tesla and trade it as far as swing trades, right? Or these long-term investments that last for months and months and months. Not like swing trading, right? I hate swing trading with Tesla specifically. Now, what is interesting about all this though is that all you have to do is wait for Tesla to actually hit some really large marks, and typically you're not going to be disappointed when it hits these large moves. Like, let me go over here very fast. All right, so let's go over here. Let's go to the weekly chart. All right. Every time it makes a big move, if you sell, you're happy. If you hold on too long after like a parabolic move, it just doesn't end well for you, and it just never has, right? So it'll have another run up in the future, and then of course buy it as it's going down. I mean, for him, it's good, it's great. But the moment it starts taking off again, sell a little bit here, scale out there, scale out there, scale out there, and you're gonna be fine. Would you want another treat here, big boy? Yum 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 yum. But yeah. And again, let's put this off here very fast. Let's just say this right here. Now, Fibonacci is a little bit trickier on Tesla because, of course, the volatility here with all the news and stuff. Right? You pull up a monthly chart, though, doesn't look as bad. Right? It's just the weekly charts kind of go over the place because there's so much hope every time there's a breakout. Everybody's hoping that can go higher and higher and higher. But let me go back over here very fast. You pull this up one more time. And what did I miss right here? There you go. There we go. You go off the second one here without the log, it still works out pretty well. You see these clusters? That's typically what I'm looking for here. Cluster, 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 all that type of stuff. But look at these 2 points right here. The whites are usually my target prices when I'm doing a breakout trade. It's usually going to be the whites. But I think they're gray actually and normal, but I turn them white because it just pops more on my screen on the black background. But let's say, again, let's get this very fast. Monthly chart. All right, Tesla's been around for a while. People always forget this, so we got a lot of data to work with. White. I mean, honestly, so I gotta pop another Ricola in my mouth. It's starting to hurt. My throat's hurting a little bit. But don't know what I did with it actually. But yeah, look at it right there. Now you pull it out a little bit more, and we change the log back on. You know, the next time Tesla hits a big milestone, we'll probably hit $603. That's over 100% where we are now. Not terrible. But do you want to buy it right now? I mean, this thing has taken some pretty nasty dips in this past, and I don't think we're done with the dip for Tesla yet. So I wouldn't be surprised if people are just going to be waiting for a while, you know, in order to buy more. But I would take a look at the monthly charts. The reason I don't like to trade Tesla all too much is because I'm a weekly chart guy, and you can see how weird this looks to be above this for so long and then not continuing. This is why I don't like Tesla. Most charts, if you have that breakout, it will actually continue until it hits some other level of resistance. There you go. Some other level of resistance was this, or there's some other hidden one I just can't see. It'll hit something. Tesla, there's too much false hope where people are like, oh my God, we're going, gotta buy. Then all of a sudden, reality checks in. It sucks. I freaking hate it. That being said, if you want to do them, like I said, you're holding for months and months and months. If you buy these low levels and you wait for these reversals, oh, they are beautiful, beautiful. But yeah, it's a pain in the ass, and I don't like trading Tesla all too much, to be honest. So I'm a little bit different. Hey, Bitcoin's making a move a little bit here. There you go. In ACT, your trading strategy is fine. It's just fine and makes total sense. Yeah, it's designed. Hold on a second here. You back up. Loki's over here trying to get his poor paws run over. My trading strategy is designed by somebody who is like self-taught as a trader, who took everything from reading all these books, who took everything from watching all these YouTube videos, and looked for a pattern that made trading as easy as possible for him. That's how my trading strategy works. And Thomas, yeah, adding your own flair is definitely the best way to go about it, because all of you guys are going to see different patterns. Because like when I use my trading strategy, I see the support levels and the resistance levels in my head, whereas you guys might not see them. Not talking about you, but just general. And that means you guys might do more breakdowns or breakouts, or you guys might do certain longs and shorts up against those levels of support and resistance, which sometimes make you lose more money than you otherwise should have, because you just didn't realize, oh yeah, there's a big freaking support level there. I probably shouldn't have shorted into that one. Maybe I should wait for the breakdown. Things like that, right? You can't sell pie yet? I wouldn't be surprised if you can't sell pie yet. What's your opinion on Bitcoin Weekly CT talking about 75K most likely? Okay, so who is Crypto T? Wait, let me see. Who's CT? I know there's a person here called CT, but I feel like there's a crypto guy called CT2. I don't know. I'm sure it's somebody. I mean, if you're looking at this right now, most investors would say, hey, we're probably going to be heading down to 73,000 to 75, 76,000 bucks if we continue on this route. That's the default way to analyze what we've been seeing here over the last few months and where the technicals are showing us Bitcoin wants to go over the next few months. All right, that's what we're looking at right now. However, we have 2 or 3 big news events that could obviously help us out coming up next month to kind of stop that from happening. But that means we have to rely on something we really can't know for sure, and some of the data we see right now. I'm of the camp that we probably don't head all the way back down here to the support level, kind of around 75,000, because we're going to have some big piece of news that's going to be bullish for us, whether that relates to what Trump is doing with crypto, what happens in the Ukraine-Russia war, what happens in CPI or the economy. I'm hoping one of those things really comes through and pumps Bitcoin back up. But again, as far as technicals, I would say that's probably the best way to view it, as we're probably going to be heading back down here, breaking down over the next couple weeks, and then trying to head back down to this next level of support, and then trying to bounce off. I think for me, I just think we're not going to be able to bounce all the way. I think we're going to be looking for some good news here. At least I'm hoping for it. Maybe there's going to be a ceasefire or something. We'll have to wait and see. But my heart's taking over here and be like, I think we got an opportunity. I think we got a chance here. There we go. And hey, Josh, agree. I don't like trading Tesla, but I do DCA because I believe in Optimus. Yeah, again, long-term holding for Tesla, that's the easiest way you're going to make money. It's fantastic. It's great. It's just that when it comes to trading Tesla, it just doesn't perform the way a normal stock should. It doesn't follow the rules. So there's just a lot more give and take. And my reasoning is quite simple. When I trade Apple and I follow my trading method, I have about an 85 to 90% accuracy rate on trading Apple. That means I have to wait for everything to look like it's good, then everything is good, then I buy. I don't take that huge risk of like, oh, it doesn't look okay, I'm not going to buy it. No, I just wait for everything to align, it's good. So when that trade happens, I can deploy a lot of capital into it. Microsoft, great opportunity, same thing, like 85 to 90% when everything is aligned. Home Depot is very, very good. Lowe's is very, very good. You also got ExxonMobil, which is very, very good if you understand the oil markets. You guys can look at the websites and stuff like that. But when it comes to Tesla, there's just too much noise going on with that thing, and I just can't I can't follow it. I think my accuracy for Tesla trading is like at 68, 70 something percent. It's not good. I mean, I win more than I lose, but that's not enough for me to feel confident enough to take the trades on Tesla going forward. And normally how I'd remedy this situation is I would trade and practice more. I do paper trading and stuff like that. I just don't have a need to. I don't really want to. So I stick with crypto, and I stick with my Microsofts, like here, and my Nvidias and stuff like that. You know, you even pull up something like Nvidia right here. Right? It's still a little bit more complicated. Maybe it was this one that looked better. No, it was this one, yeah. But you get a better gist of what's happening here. And again, we're in this weird territory where you're still going to see a lot more volatility. And I think it's just because some of these are kind of turning into bubbles. You can see how we're curling over right now. If Nvidia doesn't have a good earnings coming up, what, Monday, the February 24th? Oh, did it already happen? How was earnings? No, date Wednesday the 26th. Okay, yeah. Why does it say? Why does the line say the Monday? Oh, on a weekly chart. That's why. Yeah, if we don't have good earnings, oh, it's all over for Nvidia. Nvidia's probably going to tumble all the way back down to $73. It'll be catastrophic. I mean, great, awesome, cool, but it's just, you know. But again, you roll with the momentum. So, God, there we go. I was looking for a low stochastic and a low RSI. We haven't had one in a while. If you follow these three and you make sure these, I guess I can't scroll over both of them. The stochastic and the RSI are oversold. You can really grind those waves when everything starts to go better, right? MACD is good on the weekly chart. Stochastic is going from oversold, so below this line right here, that dotted line, coming from below that dotted line above it. Same with the RSI. Crossed below, came back above. You can make some good moves. And maybe, and the last time that happened back over here, it wasn't even that big. That was March 2020. Oh, that was COVID. Back over here, December 2018, right? You go over here to Meta, right? Dip, came back up, crossed above. Look at that. You're good. You just have to wait for those signals, right? So you can see, let me actually go back in time here. This is back in 2022. So you really didn't get a clear buying signal until here. That's the change of character right there. By here it was already bullish. By here it was already bullish. And again, even if you missed out on this, you still had all the upside there. But I think this one was a special case because they were having the metaverse issues back in the day. Because you had a buy sign back over here, a buy sign kind of over here, but the MACD was red the entire time, and by the time the MACD went to being green, this was back to being red. This might have been the only time you could have saw something happen here, and you can see when this did happen right there. Right, it led to a small move up, but I don't know if that was enough. Again, you didn't really have a good change of character there because the weekly charts were still kind of fucked up. Get rid of all those drawings there. But if you just chill, let the system work out, it's great. It's just that it doesn't really do well in times like right now, where the market's tipping over. As right now, it's telling you all to sell or short. It's not telling you guys to long because, again, we're tipping over as a market. Doesn't work so well on the 15-minute chart, as you can see. All right, we're doing a little bit better. When Tesla 2x Tesla Bolt ETF goes below 9, so it's time to start buying. Every time I do, I make a lot. Yeah, Tesla's great for waves. It's fantastic for waves. But those waves just take months and months and months and months. And that's the way I prefer to trade Tesla. It's just that I just think that majority of the time there's something better out there to hold than Tesla, right? I mean, you guys know that ever since the inflation thing, this thing kills my computer, so I'm not going to do it for so long. I don't know why. It takes so much memory out of my computer. You go over to fundamentals. Let me go over here. Actually, maybe we'll do this. There we go. Sorry, it's not working for a second. Over $2 billion. Yeah, this thing overcharges my computer. It used to not do this. I think they put so much stuff in here that my computer just can't handle it anymore. Okay, then I go over here to... Actually, let me just go to this one. Dividend yield over 3%. And you could choose an industry, but I think for most of us, for now, let's just use United States. Then go over to charts. Maybe I won't be able to show you charts. Yeah, it totally froze my computer. There you go. There you go. Okay, so. And you go over here, or maybe even just basic. Please don't break my computer, please. There you go, okay. And you can go over here and you can kind of go through the list. Again, you'd probably choose through a sector, so maybe you want to go through banks and diversified or banks and regional. Banks and regional are like crazy right now because of the volatility and everything that happened over the last couple of years, right? But let's say I wanted to buy banks for whatever reason, you know? Well, okay, there we go. You can come over here and see the dividend is 3.82%. It's been going flat for the past year, basically. You'd be making some money off of that. Mostly flat over here, up, I guess, year to date, or up over the last year. Up, again, 3.15. You can go down here and look for your dividends and things like that. You'd be able to find some things just to kind of park your money. That's typically what I've been doing, except for instead of banks, I've been looking into, if I can find it here, not bioscience, where are we at? There we go, conglomerates. Nothing right now. Why isn't conglomerate showing up here? I guess I've been using TradingView for this one, but I wonder if they changed what conglomerates meant for them. Okay, well, let's go over here then. Improvement. Yeah, they just don't have health. You know what? Maybe let's just go to this one, a little bit easier. Healthcare. Okay. 3.16. You're making money. You're making money. This one right here, Amgen, lower market cap. It's pretty much flat. Dividend 3%. Still made money on it, I guess, technically, even if it's a little bit here. Made money off of it. Made money off of it. Volatile, but you made money off it. Jesus. This one, not so much. Merrick. All right. But yeah. Dividend 7%. Now, hasn't really been doing great, but again, still good dividend. I go through these lists and I'm like, okay, what can I find? What can I add? I've been a dividend hunter for the past few years now, and it's been great. Healthcare has been good. Energy's been good. Although I got hit hard by the Pioneer Natural Resources because that was a great source of dividends. And so when they got bought out and merged with ExxonMobil, I just lost that. I made a lot of money off the asset value going higher, which is fine, but like it was nice to have a place where I could park the money. The dividends were just great time after time after time. Texas Roadhouse. Oh, there you go. The Russia ceasefire news to come at the end of the week. Bitcoin will go bonkers, fingers crossed. I mean, again, I'm hoping for that. The news makes it seem like it could happen over the next weeks or so, which is kind of really nice to see. And if that does happen, we won't have to worry about Bitcoin going back down into the $70,000 range. Or like Bitcoin hitting down to like 80,000, 75, 70, whatever that level is, right? Any advice on gifting my nephew's crypto for the long term? What type of wallet? Read something about a paper wallet. So, okay, in these situations, I don't know how old your nephews are. I would just get them a couple Ledger Nanos, cheap ones, like they're like $60, I think nowadays. I think they're not too expensive. Yeah, Ledger Nano S Plus matte black, nothing crazy with it. And then I'd pretty much just let your parents hold it in some type of vault that they have in the house. It could be a small gun safe. It can be a safe at the bank. It can be anywhere they feel like it's going to be safe, but just not in their office desk or something like that, if that makes sense. And then just hold it in there and kind of let it sit for a while. And then when they're old enough to kind of start moving it around, they can do whatever they want with it. But usually just a nice little Ledger Nano is going to be plenty enough for them. They got expensive ones, of course. I've never needed one. I think I got a wallet for free from some company. There was a few that I got. One of them was really, really bad. One of them was okay. One of them was good. The one that was good, I think, was Elio. Oh, EliPal. There you go. EliPal. This one was good. Yeah, I got the EliPal Titan. I don't know where it's at, but it's somewhere. Yeah, this thing was sweet. So you can get wallets like this. I just, save the money, give them more Bitcoin. $80K to $75K in this week? No, I don't think we're going to be seeing that this week. If anything, if we continue to go bad, it'll probably happen over the next month or so. I think Dogecoin will hit 45 cents again eventually. Hey, Calvin, is my MACD and RSI? No, they're not default values. The MACD and the MACD and the RSI are. The stochastic is a different one. If you want to see the values that I use, I have a tutorial about how I trade. There's a few of them, so let me just give you the one that I know as always works. Go to YouTube and type in Smart Money Concepts. Luxalgo. Scroll down till you see this one that says How to Trade Smart Money Concepts Luxalgo Fall 2025 Updated Guide and Trading Strategy. Trading Strategy is the important one right there because most of these are just normal guides. And then it'll show how I have everything set up because it is a custom number that I have put in there for them for each of the K and the D values. I have not actually seen carbon credits. I have not actually figured out how to buy that yet. If you figure it out, let me know. It'd be interesting. I think I saw an ad for it at the airport actually. Hope you feel a little bit better. I hope I am too. Like my ankle has been going through some pain today because I've been overusing it since I'm back home and I'm trying to like walk to my desk, let Loki out, go upstairs, go downstairs. I'm not like taking as much time as I need to like not walk on my ankle as it's kind of healing. But at the same time, my nose is getting a little bit stuffy and all of a sudden my throat's a little bit scratchy. I'm like, oh my God, I better fucking not be getting a cold here. That'd be freaking terrible. So if I'm getting a cold, I'm going to be just hydrating like crazy. You never know. Yeah. You never know, Am I going to start to do options plays? There's not really a reason for me to do options right now. I mean, we were just talking about this whole little thing about how the market's like tipping over. It just doesn't look that great right now to be doing a lot of options plays. Typically, I love doing a lot of options plays within a period of a year. as we're coming out of a nasty bear market. That's like the beautiful thing. We had it really well coming out of COVID, right? The COVID drop, and we had it really well coming out of the 2022 rate hike environment, and that ended up being very, very good. Right now, we're at the highs, and it's like we're tipping back over a little bit more, and when I'm looking at these different types of plays, it's almost like they're just subtle day trading opportunities here when everything is aligned, right? You guys know how I have that 8 or 6 chart layout where it's basically like a daily chart, a weekly chart, 4-hour chart, 1-hour chart, 15-minute chart, 5-minute chart, and 1-minute chart. And I have all those laid out, and I'm waiting to see what everything looks like. And if I see the daily chart and the 4-hour chart look good, and then if I see something bullish in the 1-hour chart, I'll take it, or the 15-minute chart, I'll take it, and I'll scalp it out through the rest of the day, and I'll make a little bit of money options trading, or I'll hold it for a few days and try to do some good moves options trading there. Those moves are not as consistent as they used to be. So let me just pull out a stock. I guess Apple is always interesting. Okay. So Apple got good right here. Still bullish, still change of character, still green, right? Go over here to the 4-hour chart during that time. Green, 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 green. So we have to wait for greenness after this, which means it would be here, I guess. This didn't do squat. Nothing happened here. We had another one back over here during pre-market. This one amounted to some stuff. We hit that level of resistance and we kind of paused for a little bit. But again, I want to go back over here. So we have to see this green one right here and this one right there. Go to the 15 because this is how you day trade it, right? So you have to buy it exactly at market open because you can't buy it pre-market, right? And you got to ride that wave to this level of resistance right over here, and that's the scalp you're playing right there. When this one didn't work for the long, yeah, I wonder what the news was because this thing it just wasn't able to have a clean breakout. It looks like. Yeah. I want it to be very, I want to have a strong belief that it's going to go higher. Right now, we've been bearish for a minute. Look at this. Look at this divergence happening right now. Bearish, bearish, bearish. Flat, flat, flat. Coming down now. Pre-market. Yeah, rolling over a little bit now, but we don't have the bearish change of character. There's not many good setups right now. You'd have to find something that's just not in tech, and a lot of what I'm doing is in tech right now. A lot of what I'm doing is in tech. I think that might be my downfall right now in the shorts market. Bonk, I think Bonk is a good long-term hold, but you just don't want to put too much money into it because it can definitely slide down a little bit more. Berkshire holding $334 billion in cash, $280 billion in stocks before it's ready for the winter. I mean, I can't blame the guy. But inflation? I don't think there's well, hold on. March 12th. That's like little over 2 weeks. Little over 2 weeks. Maybe with oil prices coming down, it'll be a little bit better. But I don't expect a CPI to give us any like wow expectations of helping us out here. It's more for CPI, I would say. Yeah, I just don't expect CPI to give us a huge boon. I just expect CPI to not make things worse because when I think of what's about to happen here, we're about to launch tariffs in March, which will like mute a lot of that, unfortunately, and cause Bitcoin to come down quite a bit Excuse me, if the tariffs actually are enforced. If they actually are enforced. That's a big thing right there. What you think about Pepe? It took a beating? Dude, everything took a beating for the most part. I like most altcoins out there that are in the top 100. I hold a lot of them. I'm just waiting for them to pop over time. But again, they're going to probably slide down even more unless Bitcoin's able to find some stability here and have this reversal. It may happen next month. It may happen next 2-3 months, next quarter, whatever. But for right now, everything is just bearish and you're seeing everything slowly zoom out a little bit coming down here overall. He put 334 billion in the treasuries, getting a 5% tax free. Yeah, but that's a pretty safe way to look at this. And again, I want to stress when we talk about stocks and crypto is for the same thing here. But we look at things like Nvidia here. I'm in the camp we're in a bubble, right? Over here, Nvidia fell down about 70%. Okay. If this is the high we get from Nvidia and Nvidia falls down another 70%, Nvidia comes back down to $46, that's right around this support level over here, you know? So again, I don't think it's impossible for the market to have a huge nasty move, and for people like Warren Buffett to come in here like, oh shit, I sold my Nvidia at $126, but I was able to buy it back up for $50. Oh fuck yeah! I'm old, but I'm rich, bitch. I could totally see him making those types of plays here. And it's not just that. I mean, again, Tesla, volatility all over the place. I know we got like our oil plays and stuff like that. That's a little bit different. But you go over here to Lowe's, Lowe's is doing fantastic right now. But again, a little bit different. It's not tech, so people still need to build their houses and stuff, even during a recession, still building up things. Not going to be as drastic, but I think still solid. Google, though, again, tech fell down about 45%. Last few weeks, I should say, down about 16%. These moves can happen pretty darn fast when it comes to tech, and I believe he wants to be there to buy all of them up because this next new AI tech wave that's coming, these companies are still going to survive. They're going to have a lot of AI and cool stuff, and he's just going to become a majority stakeholder in a lot of these not majority. He's going to be a large shareholder in a lot of these corporations and things like that. All right? So we're looking at some interesting stuff. But anyway, guys, I'm going to call it a night right now. I got to take a look out to use the bathroom. He's being a little bit of a baby. He also wants a treat. I also got to fix my throat with some more lozenges here. Oh, hold on. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. And here, I'm happy to see my man. What do you think about the housing market? Is it a good time to buy it? No. I would say no. You want to see the housing market crash here. There you go. Don't be so violent, dude. Freaking scared me and my poor little fingers. All right. But I'll see you guys a little bit later. I'm not a fan of buying houses here because of the interest rates. I think if you do want to buy a house, you'd probably want to have a lot of money down. That's the key.